Welcome to our remarkable agents and investors nationwide. Today is Thursday, March 30th. I got the month right today, 2023. And this is All the Leads Mastermind podcast number 422. Just so you all know, Bruce has decided he'd rather go spend time with his dentist than be here live on the call. But he's about the first half of the call, he'll be on audio. And then we'll probably be taking over as soon as the dentist gives him his Novocaine. So I want to make you aware of that. Bruce, what do you have for us, sir? Go ahead.
So I'm just going to ask that everyone, I know everyone is here for me and me alone. So I'm going to ask that you guys stick around and kind of pretend to tolerate Jim and Chuck after I jump off. That's all I have. No. So guys, this is the All the Leads Mastermind, and if you've never heard us before, we do this every single week on Thursdays at 1 o'clock Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific. Most of you guys on this call have been here many, many times. Many of you are subscribers. We love you guys and appreciate you. By the way, if you are a subscriber, we encourage you to share your success stories. The success story or the win of the week on this mastermind does get a discount on your next month of leads. If you're not a subscriber and want to figure out how to get started in the probate niche, we encourage you to jump in with us. Go check us out on alltheleads.com or call our sales team, our support team afterward. We'd love to have you guys. We're here to kind of walk you through everything from prospecting to marketing to content creation to really anything that's probate related. You're structuring your deals, you're challenging clients, things like that. So we want to hear from you guys. Definitely chime in if you have those questions. We're here for you. You can do that on live stream if you're watching us live on YouTube or Facebook. You can chat your question in under the live video. If you're here on Zoom, raise your hand down at the bottom. Just click the reactions button, raise your hand, and we'll call on you and take your question or your success stories. And remember, we love questions. We really love success stories. So let's hear from you guys. With that said, I think Jim might have some folks that have some success stories to kick us off with, right, Jim?
I do. I actually had 3, and 2 of them postponed till next week. They're on appointments. John Rogers, if you're here, would you unmute yourself? Raise your hand and unmute yourself, please.
Unmuted.
You are unmuted, sir. Thank you. I thought it was nice to meet you face to face, John. I've seen you on the calls before. He had a little bit of a different angle on selling these properties I wanted to share with you. I reached out to John probably 3-4 weeks ago with one of our leads that's been coming in. I thought I was referring him, just your typical listing, because it seemed like the lady had quite a bit of equity. She did not have a sales schedule. So, I usually have to decide if there's an imminent sale, I make sure it's an agent. I would have called and said, hey, we need an investor deal. But I kind of called John with what I thought was a typical deal. And it turned out, well, John, I'll let you take it from there and what you've done. And what John has done is something, it's just a unique way to sell property that we don't consider very often. So I thought it was worth sharing. Please.
Okay. So basically just went out and took a look at the property, and at first look, if you look at the property on paper, like you said, it looked like there was plenty of equity, easy listing, things to go forward, a little bit of a pre-foreclosure type situation. And then the situation ended up being that the condition of the property and the fact that it was distressed, the situation it was in was probably going to make it where it was be less lending. So this would be probably more of a cash type deal, whether that would be an investor or somebody that put together some creative marketing with leveraging a portfolio lending, that type of thing. And I'm an auctioneer, I'm a licensed auctioneer. So what we looked at was putting together something where I do a no commission, no cost program structure to the seller, where we have an auction, an as-is auction, and look at something where we take in this particular case, we take the payoff on the loan. I got with my title companies, we talked about, Jim, and we got an exact payoff and a per diem and know where we're going to be when it comes time to close. and use that as a what we would call reserve on the auction, and still had something set as a starting bid lower. In this particular case, it may be something that goes less than the reserve. If it does, we may have to look at a short sale, but at the same time, we'll pull together an arm's length transaction sale with a lot of the exact same buyers for the exact same terms, conditions, not having to worry about, putting out a listing to where we're waiting to see if somebody makes an offer or waiting to see if appraisal, something has come through. In this particular case, we'll be able to put everybody in the same room, same terms, conditions, have a signed contract and offer to be able to present if it is something to the short side to a lender, or if it's something that we meet a reserve, then it's simply a 15-day close.
And what was kind of different about this, John, on paper, it appeared to be a single family home. When you got there, it was basically just a mobile home that they had kind of submitted to a pad. but it was 3 building lots on a major county highway. So it was the type of thing where there's no way you could sell it and have anybody get financing. But it may have significant appeal to a builder developer who will probably tear it down and build 3 houses.
And they could. And I think the other side of it is that this property was also put on a foundation. So even though it started off as a mobile home, it has been converted to a foundation and real property for the auditor. So it could also be something that someone local picks up. And so those are going to be the 2 different genre of buyers that'll compete to high bid to see who wants it.
Right. And John, you shared with me, you do auctions in several states. And if somebody else wanted to use you to do an auction, they still get their full commission. Right. You get,
absolutely. So, right. What we do here in Ohio, I'm in Central Ohio. So what I do in Central Ohio is I reach out even outside my own brokerage, and we talk to other agents if they have referrals like this. If they have a referral in Ohio, typically the full list commission is 6%. You co-op 3 to the buy side. So usually on the list here in Ohio, 3% is what a standard listing is going to go for. And what we do is if somebody refers a property to us, we pay a full 3% back to that referring agent. The other thing that we do is we even offer where I offer program A and B. Program A is they do what I call co-branded. If we do the listing and they refer it to us, we give them the 3%. In that, we can also co-brand. They're on our signs. We have 8-foot signs, not standard yard signs. We do a lot of marketing. We spend about $2,500 to $4,000 per project to market. We'll market them with us. So they market with us as we're looking at some of that listing side for somebody that's actually giving us referral. Program B would be if I had a listing agent that wanted to give us referral, they get 3%. But instead of going with co-branding, they may want to have 1 or 2 buyers come to that auction so that they're not a dual agent. We have the full listing, the full power of the listing, no co-branding. They can bring a buyer to that auction and still pick up another 3% on the buy side. So I have, 1, 2, 3 agents a year that'll pick up 6% on referral that we put a program together for.
That's great. And what states can you do it in right now other than Ohio? I think you said there's a couple others, right?
Oh, yeah. Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, Pennsylvania. The surrounding right there. I'm not in Michigan, but the other surrounding states. Excellent.
I appreciate it. Any questions? Bruce, Chuck, any questions for John?
I don't. I had an auctioneer that I worked with just like that years ago. I haven't found one in North Carolina, but it's an absolutely amazing program. And I do encourage anyone on this call that's in those 4 states that John just mentioned, reach out to him. John, I don't know if we really know each other very well, so
not at all.
But the service is amazing, and I think everyone needs someone like you on their side, especially those of you that are agents.
I appreciate that. The other thing too, I would tell you that we do, and that is that I own an online auction company. So when we do the auction, we do it simultaneously live and simulcast online. But we also sell the personal property. So many times, especially like these probate deals, for us, that's the reason we got involved with all the leads, and we've had a good amount of success. But is that we are able to not only sell the real property, but also the personal property online. So I've got 12 project managers in the company, and if we need to sell stuff out of the house, the building, the barn, even titled, items like cars or trucks or even campers, then that's something that we're able to do, as on the personal property side. So that's kind of the group of our business.
Awesome. Hey, John, it's good to see you in person. I know we talked, I guess it was late last year. on a coaching call, and we
Yeah.
have a very familiar setup with a local auctioneer here. One of the differences may be is that we can, as a listing agent, we can still put the listing into the MLS and have it be sold by the auctioneer. And part of
We
their
do also.
Okay, yeah, because
Yeah, we
that's
put it in MLS and it's under us. We can sell it as the auctioneer. It just depends on the structure. So I just gave you one of the ideas of how we handle it, but it is on MLS. It's still on Realtor.com, Zillow, Trulia, Redfin. It's on everything as well.
Yeah, and I think one of the differences is that our local auctioneer will have the listing go under the listing agent and not as the auction company. So it's just a little bit different, but the end result is it's a win-win-win around the table, and that's
Yeah.
the key important factor. So how much would you say is the prevalence is for auctions versus estate sales being listed by agents? Would you say in your area it's 50-50, it's 80-20?
It might be 80-20. I think as the tide begins to turn, that you'll see that ratio, flip flop depending on the economy. So when the economy starts to go down a little bit and you start seeing the shift, then it gets a little higher. But again, on my side, we can list also. So in Ohio, I cannot have it listed under you on the MLS and I sell it. So that's one thing that's different here as far as a state law. I can't list it under another agent and then I'm the listing agent also and sell it. The best we can do is co-brand and look at it as a co-listing. So here, when it comes to the amount, it depends. So when I go and I talk to a brokerage, so if I go into, many times I'll go into a brokerage sales meeting. And when I go to the sales meeting, I'm sitting down. The first thing I say is that, hey guys, how many of you here have sold a piece of property with cash? And every single hand goes up. And I said, that's mainly what I'm looking for, because if you're looking at property by cash, the reason that auction, in my opinion, is a better process and a better method, at least to look at initially, is the fact that we can put everybody on the exact same term. We don't have to negotiate a separate deal for every offer that comes in and they want this and more time and lending and a special rate. We just put it in and say, listen, we're going to sell it as is cash, whether it's something that's distressed or maybe it's something of that property here that's in fantastic condition, but it's highly coveted. So it's a situation where there's going to be a lot of bidding, there's going to be a lot of fighting, and people aren't really worried about, the last couple of years, the way as hot as the real estate market's gone, people haven't been worried about the lending as much. They've literally taken money out of 401ks and they've used, portfolio lending. They've used things to be able to pull money with cash to buy property, even over market value. I'm sure you've seen it in other states, but here, and again, I don't recall in the Mastermind if we brought this up or not, but here it's almost a commonplace that when you put an offer in, you're going to put an offer in and you're going to say, here's what my appraisal gap coverage is. So I'm going to offer 300, but my appraisal gap coverage is 300, there's 25 grand. So we'll go over the 25 grand. If it appraises as low as 275, we'll still come in at the 300 and we'll put 220, we'll put the $25,000 cash. So because people are leveraging so high on the cash side, when you get a highly coveted property, you put everybody in the same room and let them know, when I do this, there's no contingencies, financial conditional. So it's a little bit different conventional real estate because I give them 45 days to market. So you can appraise it, you can look at it, you inspect it, do anything you want, but come day of the auction, high bid wins and no contingency. So.
Yeah, I think it's important for people.
Lacey, I'm sorry, go ahead. When you're done, Roger Lacey has a couple questions. Maybe you could unmute him and let him ask the questions directly to John if you can. But go ahead.
I think it's important to understand that auctioneers like yourself are not always direct competition. They can be collaboration in order for us to give more options to the personal representatives to help them get what they want.
100%. And that's how I structure our business here in Ohio. So I did not take just conventional listings. And that's one of the things. We have a team and there will be somebody else that might handle a conventional listing or conventional buyer. I personally just structure everything toward the auction side. And so when I'm going to agents, it may be that the agent wants the listing. The agent may come to me and say, hey, listen, can you please just sell everything on the inside? So I'll hand that over to a project manager on that company. That company that I own is Innovative Revenue Solutions. So Innovative Revenue Solutions, IRS auctioneer, is the online auction side. It gets that kind of look a lot. It's the IRS, it's the auction side online, and we handle the personal property. And whether that is personal property that's of a resident, or if it's a personal property that's commercial, we're still selling that, whether it's from our location or theirs.
Yeah.
But yeah, we definitely do it hand in hand with other agents.
Okay, Roger, did you have a question for John?
Yes, sir. I'd like to get your contact information. Do you consult with other auctioneers in other states, or would you, for maybe a small fee or something, to show them the business side of what you're doing on a probate? Because clearly auctioneers are always looking for good business, and we may have some stuff going with that. I also would like to ask a little bit about your online presence and your online auction. I ran into a situation a couple of weeks ago in which there was, oh gosh, I think there was 37 wall clocks, wall pendulum clocks, and about 5 grandfather clocks, tons of antiques in the house, and the lady just wanted to sell it. I said, it's going to take you a while to find an estate seller or estate buyer, but I did find somebody to put it online. Might be a little far for you to come to Arkansas to do the photographing and stuff, but your experience and your online auction site would be of interest to me to show other guys what you're doing. Thank you.
Absolutely. And Roger, if you would put in a duck hunt on that, we could probably work something out for me to come down to Arkansas. If you look around my office, I don't know if you can see up there on top, I've got there's some elk and turkey and some bear on the other wall. But so yes, I definitely would talk to you about it, let you know what we do and where we're at. We're also trying to add other people. Right now, we have over 100,000 registered buyers on our online auction site, and that's from every kind of buyer. So we've even sold outside the country. That's not common, but I had a very, very large estate sale. It's funny you mentioned clock, but I had a large estate sale about 5 years ago that the guy was a fountain pen repair person and collector. He had over 100,000 fountain pens, and we ended up selling everything for him online. And Roger, I shipped things to Australia, Prague, Italy, Germany, all over the place, because the fountain pens were some, turn of the century stuff and highly collectible. But the point is that there's definitely ways to be able to, leverage more in this business and partner with someone, like ourselves. We would love to partner with, whomever here in Ohio and the surrounding states, that we can help them in many ways. But we also have, our online auction, the IRS Auctioneer website has been around now. I started that company in 2011. So we've been around for 12 years now. And we have some pretty good presence here in the Midwest. And there are a lot of real estate auctions that are being conducted strictly online right now. You see, if everybody wants to go to a site, go to auction.com, and just auction.com alone, they go to, I think they're in 50 states. They typically work through the bank. They're usually pulling big portfolios through the bank. They've asked us to partner with them, and that's a longer story I can talk about offline. We chose not to, but there's definitely a move in that way when it comes to industry is online, and we right now are doing not anything strictly online for real estate. We're doing simultaneous, so we do it live and simultaneous. I don't know if I'm just old school, but I like for people that are standing there and they're at the property, I think there's some good presence. Even if we do 4 or 5 properties in a weekend, I'll do them both live and online.
Hey,
Thank
John,
you.
would you give what's the best way to contact you? You want to give your email address out if anybody wants to get in touch with you directly?
I just wrote that down. I sent it out on chat. I don't know.
Oh, you did? Okay.
To ALT, I sent it to the ALT marketing, Jim. So I didn't see where I could send it to everybody, but if
Yeah.
Chuck or somebody can spread that out, that'd be great.
We'll do that. We'll get it reposted for you. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Roger. Anything else, sir?
No, not now.
All right.
Thank you.
Awesome job, John. Thank you. It looks like Ellie.
Lou. No, Lou. Lou, go ahead and unmute yourself. I'm driving, so I can't give him permission, but somebody there we go. Lou, what's up?
Hey guys. Hey, so I have an issue where I'm still so new. I don't know the details, but so this personal representative, right, she has the she says she got the papers, right, the administrative papers, and her brother, I guess, is arguing with. She wants to keep her mom's house, right? She's a out of state PR. She wants to keep her mom's house, but they don't have a lot of money. I was just talking with her, and she's, the attorney is billing her and is racking up the bills. It's already been about 4 months that they've been in the probate. I've seen other probates where the person representative will get like the homestead to the house, right? The house would switch over to their name. But I'm trying to understand how that works. Why? I don't know if the and I'm sorry if I'm not articulating this correctly, because I don't have the knowledge yet. But she wants to get the house. I'm trying to figure out why the house is not in her name yet, even though she's got the papers, the administrative papers. Do you guys know? Should that automatically happen once she gets the letters of administration? Let's say the brother.
What state?
Go ahead. Oh, Florida.
What state are you in? Florida.
Florida.
Okay. Jim's in Florida. Jim, you may be able to answer this a little bit more precisely than I do, but I'm going to tell you that typically, depending on the state, so I'm in North Carolina, and North Carolina real estate typically gets carved out of probate, but there's a process for that. And if you don't know how to follow that process, the real estate might get lumped in with the probate process. Most other states, the majority of them, the only time real estate is carved out quickly and almost as a matter of process is when it's a beneficiary asset. In other words, she would have been on title to the house.
Okay.
Is the attorney a big attorney?
I lost you there, Bruce. Did you guys hear him? I didn't catch that.
I think we lost. Can you go ahead, try again, Bruce, see if we can hear you.
Is the attorney a probate attorney, or is the attorney just a family friend trying to handle the probate?
I haven't confirmed that. That's something that maybe it seems like the attorney's not doing that good of a job, and it's kind of dragging it on.
Well, so basically what I was saying a second ago is that in the majority of states, you have to go through a very specific process to carve the real estate out of probate. It's not something
Hey, Bruce, we're losing you, Bruce, but I can take over.
However,
yeah, you're really choppy right now. You must be going into that area. In Florida, and I think this will answer your question, the property stays in the prior owner's name until the probate is completed, and then it'll show as the estate of that person. But you can carve it out, like Bruce said. Once the letters of administration are signed, the executor has the right to list and sell the property. Like Bruce said, if it's John Smith and his wife Mary with rights of survivorship, then it escapes probate. It goes directly to the surviving spouse. That's the only way you really avoid probate in Florida, to my knowledge. But if you find, let's just say you're dealing with the administrator, it still shows in the prior person's name. That's what you're saying, correct?
It's still showing in the estate of the mother. Yeah.
Right.
So
okay.
It's
all right.
It's
so
in the estate. Yeah, estate of the thing is, because I was talking with another person representative, and she filed the attorney filed some type of homesteaded, like a petition to homestead or something, and then it showed that the house transferred over to her name. So I was thinking that this attorney should be doing the same thing. If she already has her papers, it should be
just
Go
having
ahead.
the administration papers doesn't trigger that. If it was a spouse, yeah, then you file the, you just file the notice that that was her homestead, they lived there, and it transfers over. But what I was started to say is, as long as she is the person you're dealing with is the executor, they can list and sell the property. The title probably won't change now. If it says the estate of that person, it probably won't change until the property is sold. And then it'll go from the estate to the new buyer. However, if you find a buyer in the meantime, it's relatively easy in Florida to go to court and get the judge to, it sounds like the probate is probably completed, correct? Or is it still in the process?
It's still pending because
Well,
it seems like
if it shows as the estate of, I suspect the probate is completed. Or it would still show on the previous owner's name. If it shows the estate of, the probate is probably completed. The estate's just waiting for a buyer. So but in either case, as long as you know you're dealing with the executor, get the listing signed. And if you find out that the probate isn't completed, you can go to court. It's really easy, and get a judge to pull the real estate out and closed earlier. So if that's what you're asking, in other words, is the executor ready to list with you now?
no, honestly, like she doesn't want to sell it, but she doesn't have any money. She doesn't have any money. And
Yeah.
the problem is she has a brother who the brother it seems like she's arguing with the brother, right?
Yeah.
And the brother wants money, right? The brother's like a kind of dirtbag dude, supposedly she's telling me, and causing all kind of problems. And he wants the money. She doesn't want to sell the mother's house, but he wants to.
If the executor doesn't want to
sell.
sell, I would say next. If the executor doesn't want to sell, you're going to have a hard road to hoe there, and just keep in touch with her. But you know what? If she didn't want to sell, so it went through once it went through probate, and now it's in the name of the estate. They either have to sell it, or they got to divide title up among the heirs. Whatever the will says, they got to follow the will. So, if the executor, if the person in charge doesn't want to sell, and there are multiple heirs, and one of the heirs doesn't want to sell, I mean, you got a hard road to hoe there. I'd move on to another one. But in the future, don't worry about it. Just deal with the executor, get the listing signed, and you're going to be okay one way or the other.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out, what to do, because
my best advice, I'm not being facetious, go find somebody that wants to sell. But
I got you, Tim.
All right, buddy, appreciate it.
All right,
Roger,
thank you, man.
Roger, you want to jump back in? Roger?
Creative solution. I managed to get through on a creative solution for just exactly that situation at one time.
Please.
We had two sisters that inherited several properties. There was about 4 properties in the estate. I sold 3 of them, and the nice house that they had left over, both of them were living in. One sister wanted her money right now in the estate. The other one was pregnant, and her boyfriend was about to go to jail for a year. And she had another baby, and she said, I can't move anywhere. I've got to do something. So I prayed on it and started talking about it. The estate got so contentious that it was their attorneys were no longer permitted to go to court with a solution, and the judge appointed a mediator to resolve differences. And so with the challenge that we had there of selling one and putting one out of their house, selling the house and doing something, I canvassed several investors that basically pawn shop owners. And I said, if you may want to make some money, I've got a solution that you might want to consider. And he said, you need to go buy this house, and then I want you to turn around and sell it to the daughter or the sister that wants to live in it. She wants to live in it for a year, and she will get a nice inheritance as a result of it. and she will pay you up front 1 year's of mortgage payments, not rent, but mortgage payments under a contract that you two are going to write. And at the end of the year, she can turn around and sell it and pay off the note. My pawnbroker said, I got to see the house. I want to meet the girls and I want to go take a look at it. And it turned out, and they agreed. And I said, it's all contingent upon the mediator explaining to the judge exactly what's going to happen. And so the mediator took it to court, and they said it solves a problem. And I said, okay, then let's just do that. So something similar to that, I would suggest, is go ahead and sell the property to a third party or another party who will hold it, and then turn around and sell the property to the other party that's interested, that doesn't want to sell the property. It takes a lot of trust on their part to get everybody's part to get it done. But if you've got a willing attorney and that'll take it to the court will probably approve it, because it resolves a problem between the two heirs that are equally split in ownership of the property.
Creative solution, get everybody what they want. I love it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Looks like Cindy's got her hand up. Cindy Lukart, can you unmute yourself? Can we unmute Cindy, Alyssa?
Okay, there, I got it. Okay, so now
Okay.
okay. So another solution, depending on the age, I know this particular one sounds like it's not 62 and above, but if you have two siblings and they're squabbling about somebody wanting to stay in the house, that 62-year-old scenario could look at a reverse mortgage for her share to be able to stay in the property as an option. It doesn't help us as investors, but it helps us with solutions.
I like it. That's creative. See that? A problem that I said walk from, we got, you guys are thinking outside the box. We got two solutions for it already. I love it. Who else? Anybody else?
We've got a chatted in question from our YouTube stream from Arrington. He asks, in the paid training, what info do we get that we can't get from the Thursday calls? Bruce had to hop off, but Chuck, if you can take that one away for us.
Yeah, absolutely. When we look at the advanced coaching, I mean, everybody gets a once per month, subscribers get a once per month strategy coaching call with myself and or Bruce. And when we look at the options available for advanced training, we're going to have an initial call, and we're going to talk through specifically where you are and where you want to get to. And then we will customize your coaching in an advanced, one-on-one format with a higher frequency than monthly, specific to what it is that you want to get to. So we're definitely going to touch on, different marketing activities. We're going to talk about, dealing with personal representatives, dealing with, building relationships with attorneys, et cetera. So we cover the full scope of it, and we do have the opportunity to expand on, digital marketing and additional advanced strategies when it comes to that. So definitely it's going to be more so than, a mastermind format. It's personalized, it's specific. We dig into the metrics of your specific business to get you to where you want to go.
And Chuck, I think it's fair to say a lot more accountability too. They've got one-on-one accountability. I know from my previous coaching career, people told me one of the biggest values they got was just, you could make yourself promises, you don't feel bad, kind of welch them on it. But when you state out loud to somebody else, you're going to do something and they hold you accountable for it. That's a huge part of coaching. In addition to what to do, make sure you actually do it.
Yeah, I think some of the advanced coaching students have received some assignments and definitely have received some feedback if they weren't able to complete said assignments and what they had committed to. So absolutely the accountability factor, I think for everybody on the call, that can be one of the tripping points. And a lot of the strategy calls that I have are, can be a 1 month checkup, see how they're set up and how getting up and running is going for them. And many cases there's the question of, well, I didn't get to that. I didn't get to this. And it's okay. Well, we need to establish a regular time block schedule that's going to implement the strategies that we teach, even just for creating the foundation, what we teach every first Wednesday of the month in Probate Foundation. So in relation to, training as a subscriber, the first step that we want you to go through is definitely Probate Foundations. After that, we do get into the Mastering Your Prospecting Conversations. And those are formal classes that you can find under the training courses and seminars page and register for those. And those are really the first two components that everybody wants to get through and then touch base with me on their first monthly follow-up call to see what type of questions do they have. I mean, sometimes going through both of those classes can leave some loose ends in your mind and understanding which direction to go. And that way we can focus on where you are, tie up those loose ends and get you pointed in the right direction for month 2. And I really believe in the learn by doing approach. We definitely want you to take the free training, take the class for Mastering Your Prospecting Conversations, which is a paid class, and implement. So that way you can learn through your own experience from those trainings rather than dive right into an advanced coaching unless you've already implemented and you're looking to expand and grow and scale your business beyond what you've been able to achieve already in this particular niche and market. And we're absolutely here. If you have questions and want to look into your specific situation, see whether or not advanced coaching is applicable for you, schedule a strategy call and we can talk through it. And that way we can make the determination as to what level of coaching would fit best for your situation.
Definitely. And most of the trainings that Bruce does, the paid courses, most of them come with workbooks that you can take and tangible things that help you kind of implement whatever he's teaching. A lot of role play and interaction with other, fellow people in your industry. So it's very high value courses.
Perfect. Any other questions you're seeing, Alyssa? I don't see any other hands up.
I'm not seeing any other questions at the moment. Anyone else have a question? Feel free to put your hand up.
Success story. We're still looking for our win of the week. Go ahead. Who was that?
Yep. So I do have a success story from one of our subscribers. And I knew him before my time at ATL and before his time at ATL. So it was interesting that we reconnected through ATL and coaching, and he was able to build relationships with a probate attorney in his local market through his personal and professional network, expanded that relationship and was able to deliver on exactly what their expectations were. And when he was referring a lot of people to his attorney, and I think that's a really key component. So then that created a level of confidence because the people that he was referring to the attorney had nothing but high remarks for him and how he was able to help them in business. So that proved that was social proof to the attorney that, he was definitely a professional and worthy for them to work together. So one of the referrals, the attorney was referring out 3 names to personal representatives. So this particular case was an out-of-state PR. Those are the highest priority. We want to start with out-of-state personal representatives. They have the highest likelihood of needing help from feet on the street in your local market. So the personal representative did some background research. What did they do? They went to Google and they checked out the digital presence for each of the 3 referrals. So the first digital presence was the IDX site, the brokerage site for the agent that was just screaming, look at me, 40 years, I'm the best, President's Award, I'm great, rather than speaking to the needs of potential clients. So they said, nope, they're only in it for them, they're not in it to help us. Same for the second person. And then they went to our subscribers site and said, okay, they're just an agent. They're not specifically a broker, which was important to them. And they were able to, they're like, okay, I see the digital presence is they're actually reaching out. They care about their clients. So they called them up. Our subscriber got the listing, just closed 2 weeks ago. And it just so happens that the husband of the out-of-state PR is a newer agent and in a newer market, and now they are a subscriber of ATL because they're building their business in a different state from where this property was with us here at ATL. So it was really, really cool because the sale went very well. It was a distressed property. They were able to get it off their hands. They didn't have to deal with anything because our subscriber helped them the way that we teach, and was able to then help them further their career in 2023 by introducing them to the probate niche and how to help people settle estates easier than doing it alone. So that's kind of a double win, because now we have the ability to help more families go through this potentially challenging time.
And they have a great story to tell their clients too, how they got to. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So question, I want to call on Mr. John Cooper out in California. John, can we get John unmuted? Because I want to ask a couple of questions. I get a lot of these questions in our strategy coaching calls. And a lot of it's about attorney referrals and attorney relationships. So I know that a month ago, I think it was the February 23rd Mastermind, John, you had mentioned that you had 15 deals pending and a significant number of those had come from your relationships, which I think that's where you've put a lot of energy into and providing value to attorneys. Any thoughts so far? Like how are things going with those deals? How are things going with attorneys? What's your relationship status up to now?
Can you guys hear me on this mic?
Yep.
All right. Actually got a referral yesterday for 4 properties in one probate. So they just start, once you have that relationship built, it takes me I'm not the greatest sales guy. I am not the walk into your office, I'm going to be your best friend, right? I'm very direct and cold. So that hinders me in my sales process, right? So other people that are better at it probably kick my butt, right? But it takes me about 6 months, but once you have that relationship built, they just call you up. Hey, I got this deal I need help with. Hey, I had an attorney call me where the admin wanted to use their friend and she claimed to be a probate expert. And they go, okay, well, we need to get ready for the notice of proposed action. Where are we at in the escrow? Well, the other agent had no clue what a notice of proposed action is. So there are a lot of people out there acting like they know probate. Well, if you really dive into it, you learn it. You learn to talk like the attorney. You understand the process so that you're not having to be trained all the time. They trust you that everything's going to be handled properly with the probate. They know you're going to get it done right, and they don't have to babysit you. And that value there alone just sets you apart. Litigated estates, when you don't have full authority, learn it all in this realm, and you'll become the expert. And they just start bringing you business. So, but I go out and I door knock the attorneys. I walk into their office. I bring them, try to do it once a month. I actually get to it like once a quarter. I go to the Sacramento bar, the Placer bar. They have networking meetings, whatever. professional fiduciaries. They use fiduciaries out here to handle the estate or probates that don't have someone who wants to be or trustees. Build relationships with those people. Those are gold mine because they're the actual person deciding on who's going to be used to sell this property. So I'd have to go through my list. Week alone, I probably got 6 referrals that came in properties. And I'm on track. I don't know. With everything I have active, pending, closed, and in the pipeline, which are, I call them in the pipeline, are actually like the one I got yesterday. I drove by the properties. I met the tenants. This is a fiduciary I work with. I will get the deal. I know it's going to happen, right? So I call it in the pipeline. I don't have them listed yet, right? We got 90 days to get tenants out. So I think I'm at 25-ish. So it's my next step is to get into the outbound sales calls because I know I'm missing a bunch of stuff there, marketing to these admins. I think we have about 1,000 a year probates placer in Sacramento County, and I'm getting a minor percentage of actually what's sold, right? If I'm selling 30, 40 a year out of 1,000, there are that many more I can get. So the marketing works. I send out postcards. I get calls off those. I don't call. I'm just haven't got that far yet. But I think next, getting the outbound sales calls going. I just built a website just for probate. Completely, it's all it is probate and real estate, probate and trust real estate PTR. I had to file a DBA and all that stuff, Department of Real Estate, but its entire goal is just to send them to my website, have them sign up, check out my videos, all that kind of stuff. It's a building process, but yeah, the attorneys are gold mines. I think I have a list of 100 or 200 that I prospect, and I have probably 30, 40 on my A listers. So, and I just don't, there are agents that are way better at sales.
Breaking up a little bit.
Oh, yeah, my internet's probably running slow.
Yeah. Hey, you dropped a nugget there that I don't want to just quickly pass over. You know, we always say the out-of-town executors, you know, are the ones you should focus on first. When you have a professional administrator, those are huge. We had a gentleman in Northern California, I can't remember his name now, that basically built his business on that because there's no emotion. And I think you can typically tell that when the executor and the attorney are one and the same. Is that correct? That they're usually a professional administrator? Is that how you identify them?
Yeah, a lot of attorneys don't do both out here.
Oh, okay. So because if you can identify a professional administrator who does that, I mean, they're not doing one a year, they're doing multiple deals, and that can bring.
They're doing,
so how do you?
Yeah, they're doing.
How do you identify them? You just find them in the process of contacting all the attorneys.
Yeah, they're licensed fiduciaries. So we go out. There's a list. You have to go actually find them. They're not easy to find. They don't have websites.
Okay.
You have to go hunt them down, actually go to the licensing board and try to do a search in this area and hunt them down. And then you start learning once you go to the meetings, like the attorney networking meeting, they'll be there. PFAC, Professional Fiduciaries of California, and they have those meetings. I go to that. And then once you get in this realm, they'll start referring each other. Right. So one fiduciary referred me just the other day. She has 3 properties, and a fiduciary referred me to another fiduciary because she knows that I can handle this issue that they have. Right. There's 29 guns to be sold, 2 safes, cars, 3 properties. I help them with all that. So I can't necessarily sell the guns, but I can help them go to the house. Let's make them safe. Let's get the FFL in there, all that kind of stuff. Right. Because California is, you get caught with a gun in your car, you're in trouble. But those fiduciaries are referring me to other fiduciaries to get these properties sold. And this one fiduciary referred me to the other one. She's got 3 right now. So one's going on the market tomorrow.
Perfect. So kind of, if you will, I mean, what did it take to build those 30 to 40 relationships with A-listers? I mean, walk us through a scenario where you're going into a new attorney, and what does that door knocking process and procedure look like for you?
I put them on my list. I go to Google. I just do a search. Who's all the attorneys in within 50 miles of my right area? I go through them, figure out which ones might look like they're doing probates and trusts. You stay away from the other ones. You don't need a personal injury attorney. And then I'm walking in with a gift, right? Staying connected with my favorite people. I think these were like a couple bucks on Amazon, right? I'm staying connected with you. That's hilarious, right?
Yeah.
I walk in, I hand them a couple. They got my cards in them. They remember me. I do mugs. I did umbrellas. I do the more expensive stuff to the people I've already built relationships with, right? The smaller stuff, I'll do cookies. I bring cookies to people. Who doesn't like cookies? Actually, I had one attorney office say that, no, we don't eat cookies here. So I said, sweet, took my cookies and left, right? If you're not eating cookies, you're not my friend. So, but I just walk in, introduce myself. I'm a local realtor, broker. I specialize in probate. This is all I do. Just want to meet you and say hi. And I just do that over and over and over and over and over. I send them postcards. And then finally I guess it just whittles them down. There's no other agents actively doing this. And I'm in one of the most saturated real estate agent market in probably the entire country, right? Sacramento and this area has more soccer moms who are real estate agents than anywhere else, right? So there's a lot of disposable income out here, and I'm only closing 30 or 40 a year, right? And that just puts me into the top 10% or whatever it is in real estate agents out here. So there's like 12,000 real estate agents in my area. That's more agents in the entire state of Montana. So the competition is stiff, but there's no one actually working hard to actually do it. So if you're in a market, you just got to show up every day. And there's so much business to be had that, right, there's 1,000 probates and I'm doing 30, 40. So,
So did you feel that you had to be an expert in probate and understanding the entire probate process before you walked in there?
No, I would read up on it and become knowledgeable enough, understand the process. If you know an attorney that you like, take them to lunch. Hey, can you tell me what the probate process is? And then they'll explain it to you. Hey, step by step, how does this work? Because every state has their own laws, right? California has the kind of ins and outs, and then if you get a probate from an agent or an attorney, hey, show me how to do this. Once you do one, you kind of get your feet wet and you kind of really understand it, right? And then you get into the tricky stuff, conservatorships, guardianships with minors and other stuff. But don't be afraid to ask questions. They'll appreciate that you're wanting to learn it, right? Versus winging it. They know you're not an attorney. They know that you don't know the probate code. They know that, all right, in this instance, this probate code says this and this happens over here, right? They know that you don't know that. But if you're going to do a good job for them and you ask the questions and you're proactive about it and you're working with them, I think they're going to appreciate that just as much as a person like that's all I do is probate, right? So
yeah, very cool.
Don't be afraid to go and get your hands dirty, and they're going to appreciate your hard work.
Absolutely. Well, I see that David Bell has his hand up. It may be a question for you, John, so stay close. David, can you go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question?
There
you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Hey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So I had a quick question about getting the actual probate property sold while it's actually still in probate. Like I'm hearing from a few different sources that you don't have to wait for the probate process to be fully finished to get the property sold. I'm just having a hard time understanding how does that process work? Is it a lengthy process or is it, kind of simple to explain?
No, I think when you definitely want to have the letters of testamentary, which is going to give the authorization to the personal representative to act as the signer for the estate. And, but typically once you have the letters testamentary and the PR can act, Then once they can go ahead and sell the property, and depending on your state, depending on the county and the requirements, they may have, the court approvals as far as the values and what they can sell it for. And that's going to be state by state.
Okay.
But what happens when you sell the property, those proceeds will go into the estate bank account until probate has been closed. And that's when the proceeds for the inheritance will get distributed to the heirs according to the will.
Okay, I got you. Who actually opens the estate's bank account?
So it's typically the responsibility for the personal representative, because they are the fiduciary. They're the legally court appointed responsible person to settle the estate on behalf of the beneficiaries. Okay,
I understand. I appreciate you explaining that. And I just had one last question, because I'm new to the whole probate strategy. I was thinking about actually, purchasing a list, but my question was, if I do purchase a list in my state, should I only stick to counties that have very high investor activity, so it's not hard for me to do dispositions once I get the property under contract to get it sold?
Well, I think the answer's in the question, right? You definitely want to find the areas where you have the most activity. That's going to give you, it's supply and demand. If you can find the supply in a county that has the demand for investor activity, absolutely, that makes the most sense to me.
Okay. All right. I appreciate that.
Yep.
Thank you.
Perfect. And I think we'll close out like we started with Roger. Roger?
I think it's David. David, I've found that the court in my area would like to see a comps study. I use a broker's price opinion, and knowing what the price is going to be or what the value of the property is with minor improvements or just sold as is. The biggest import right now in that in putting a house on the market now is there's low inventory in my area. There's probably low inventory in your area. And if you find a way to get the property to FHA standards, you will probably be able to sell it to a home buyer instead of an investor, which benefits the estate significantly more. But putting the property in the context of the days on the market, the absorption within the market is a very good reason for getting it sold early so that it can be done and the funds be put in the estate account. I just wanted to mention that absorption in that area, in my area, is a reason to put the property on the market now.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, the reason why I asked that question was because I'm currently only doing the wholesale strategy. So I'm just trying to build my capital up to kind of purchase some buy and holds. But that, Roger, I do like that strategy. Once I get the capital, I would probably prefer to do that, so that way I can sell it to a regular retail buyer for them to have a home.
Just one other quick thing to bring up, Bud. Do you have, in any of these counties that you're working in, you always need to have a realtor or a set of realtors to work with? If you can't find the investor, or you can't find what the person who owns it is interested in selling it for, you definitely need to be able to have a referral network to refer it to listed. So add that to your quiver of things that you have to offer. Find agents to work with to do that.
Okay, I'll definitely keep that in mind. Yeah, that's one thing I've been doing for the last 3 weeks is building relationships with agents, because some of them are very helpful and they're willing to work with us investors. So I do agree. I'll keep working on that also.
You always have to have realtors that you can work with to get this done. The same thing is true for the realtor side of this. You always need investors. As a realtor, you always need investors to move property too quickly. If your customer, if their buying motivation is speed, you got to have a place to go sell them. So you need a good bunch of investors to go get that done with. Jimmy, take us home, buddy.
All right. Another great call. I don't think we missed Bruce at all. What do you guys think? Tell him that next week, by the way. Give him a hard time. Wait, now, it was a great call. I think everybody, I want to thank everybody who chipped in, John and Roger and Mr. Cooper and everybody. I want to particularly thank all of you for being here today. I want to challenge you, as always, take one idea that inspired you on this call, go out and put it into practice, and please come back next Thursday and share your results with the group. Have a great week, everybody. Talk to you same time next Thursday. Take care.